We'll see how that goes. So, Shannon, who starts week 1, Cam or Mac?
I believe it's going to be Cam Newton, but I do not believe he'll be given the privileges of playing as bad as he did in stretches last year, Skip, and being able to maintain his job. Coach Belichick has said Cam's the starter, and someone's going to have to beat him out for that job. And that's what Coach Belichick loves. He loves competition. And it doesn't matter the position. You don't think just because you got drafted or you got a big salary, Coach Belichick will move on from your butt. And he keeps a fire lit up on all of his players because they know, Skip, ain't no guarantees here. He'll eat, it's not his money, he'll eat Mr. Kraft's money and keep it moving. You see how he drafted those guys? Drafted 2 guys in the 3rd round, replaced them already. I'm sure Mr. Kraft wasn't happy about that. So what I believe, Skip, I believe Cam Newton starts the season. And as long as he's playing well, they're winning, he'll continue to be in there. But I don't believe he has the leash like he had last year because there were stretches he played really bad and kept his job. I don't believe that happens this year. He doesn't play well for a period of time, maybe 3-4 games. I believe Mac Jones is going to get that job.
And by the way, Cam's QBR last year would rank 30th of 33 qualified quarterbacks.
Correct.
Not great.
Right.
Okay. So you told me for several weeks on this show that Mac Jones was the best of the rest of the quarterbacks, right? Of the other 4 down, from Trevor Lawrence down, you had Mac Jones. And you also thought he was the best prepared to start immediately.
Yes.
And you might think he's better prepared than even Trevor Lawrence. Is it close?
It's close. It's close.
All right. So why wouldn't Belichick just say, I got my guy. He fell in my lap at 15. If he's that guy, just play him the way they played Peyton in Indy right away.
Well, Peyton didn't have, I believe if Cam wasn't there and you got Steady and you got Brian Hoyer, I believe now it's but that's a different set of circumstances than having Cam there. Most of those guys that start right away, Skip, they remove it. If you remember, Skip, Carson Palmer, he didn't start his rookie year.
Although I remember Cam starting because he just lit that league up.
But Skip, you do realize Jimmy Clausen was the guy. So they got rid of Jimmy Clausen.
Okay. All right, but you could see Mac Jones starting from day one. It's just you're in a tough spot because you love Cam and you love Mac.
I do,
right?
but the question is, do I believe Mac Jones is more ready to be a starting quarterback right now than Cam Newton? No, I don't. No, I don't.
Here's what I can't put 2 and 2 together and get 4 in New England. How do you tailor an offense to Cam and then you have Mac waiting, not in the wings, he's like on the edge, like he's looking over Cam's shoulder, ready in game 4, 5, or 6 to jump in and start.
Right.
How do you remake the offense on the fly for Mac Jones? Because that would be the old Brady offense.
Well, they did it with Lamar Jackson when he was there with Flacco. You remember Flacco?
But then they junked it and went with
exactly.
Lamar.
And so guess what? Once Mac becomes a starter, a lot of the plays that they run, the quarterback draws and things of that nature, they won't be running. Skip, you remember how different the offense looked with Jimmy G as opposed to Tom? There were a lot more bootlegs. There were a lot more waggle passes.
I don't think it was quite as dramatic as
No, but I'm saying, so you tailor the offense to that best fit the skill set of the quarterback that's playing at the time. It's not, Skip, like I'm saying, there are not going to be no wholesale changes. It's not going to be, he's going to be running Carolina's offense, and then when Mac get in there, they're running a completely different offense.
Yeah, but what's weird to me is Andy Dalton's in Chicago, and I suppose he'll start for a little while.
Right.
In place of, obviously, above Justin Fields, but you need Andy Dalton to start in New England, and you need Cam to start in Chicago because the offenses would be more similar, even though Justin Fields can flat out throw it from the pocket.
Right.
But he can run. He ran 4.4.
Right.
So you'd have a better chance of segueing from or transitioning from Cam to Justin Fields as you would from Andy Dalton to Mac Jones. You see what I mean? Or Brian Hoyer maybe in New England.
But if you look at it, Skip, look at Kansas City's offense with Alex Smith and look at Kansas City's offense with Patrick Mahomes.
It was similar because you start out with Patrick throwing from the pocket, but you start to add a little wrinkle here and a little wrinkle there because his first year of starting, it was more conventional and it went over the edge into pure Patrick along the way.
Right, and then, you know, you get more deep throws. So I just think the thing is that, like I said, I believe Cam, because, like I said, I believe Cam is a year further removed from surgery. He's has another year under his belt in this system. And plus, he has more weapons to work with. So given that, Coach Belichick is going to be less lenient with the mistakes, with the turnovers, with the bad play, because I feel I've given you so much more than what you had the year before. Even Mr. Kraft said we couldn't expect Cam to be successful with the talent that we had around him.
Yep. If Mac Jones is as good as you think he is,
yes.
I don't. But if he's that good, I would start him from day one, opening day. Just let him go, because don't stunt his growth. Don't.
John Elway didn't start opening day. Steve DeBerg did.
Did he?
Yes.
Whose idea was that?
Dan Reeves, I guess. Did Joe start opening day? Because if I'm not mistaken, Steve DeBerg was there too.
I don't remember. He did start a bunch of games his first year.
Yeah, John ended up starting like 6 or 7 games.
They were horrible. And they came to Dallas and Joe started.
Guess what?
And they got beat like 62-7.
Dan Marino didn't start. David Straught. It might have been Woodley. Woodley.
Maybe.
Yeah, Dan didn't start. Dan started 10 games.
But that was the old days mentality. That was archaic thinking when everybody said you got to sit and you got to wait. Well, Peyton sort of broke the mold. He just said they just threw him into the fire.
But they didn't have they removed all the veterans. Okay. They just he had no choice but to swim because they had no lifeguard. They had no veteran quarterback there, Skip, to say, okay, if things go bad, you just got to play your way through it. So if you throw 5 interceptions in a game, you throw 5 interceptions.
All right. So I'm going to go back on record with the kid that I like the best, Trey Lance.
Okay.
I still believe, even though he's only 20 years of age, I think he's about to turn 21, but I don't know if he's turned yet, but he was 20 when they drafted him.
Right.
I believe he was the readiest to start on day one because North Dakota State gave him so much responsibility. He set the protections, he called the audibles, the check with me's, the option routes. His plate was full at North Dakota State. I get it was 2019, but he's a film junkie. I just believe his football maturity is extreme, and he's another one where you're going to do so many different things with him other than what you do with Jimmy G, that I would still cut bait with Jimmy G. If somebody wants to take him and give you a 2 for him, I would still do it.
No.
Yep.
And plus, Skip, I think Mac Jones, because he played in Sark's system. Remember, Kyle Shanahan was there in 2016. Sarkisian comes in 17 and 18. And so, if I'm not mistaken, they had Sarkisian because that was the offense that had gotten them to the Super Bowl, had led Mac Jones to be the MVP. So I believe he learned that system. He brought a lot of that with him back to Alabama.
Okay.
So with that being said, he understands, and playing in Alabama, playing in those big-time games, Skip, there's a reason why year after year, Alabama has so many guys. So many teams are wanting to get Alabama guys. Coach Saban had 39 first-round draft picks since he's been back in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
So that tells me that he knows their coach, he knows their discipline, knows their study the game.
All right, I got all that. I'm on record. I believe that Kyle Shanahan will get Trey Lance on the practice field. Whenever they start camp, I think you'll see right away, wait a second, I really got something.
Well, yeah.
And I just think, even though they're win now, because they have a chance to be a contender next year. So you'd say, well, Jimmy G would give you a better shot. Really?
Well, you really do need to win because you're giving up your draft pick for the next 2 years, and you don't want those to be top 10, top 5, top 10 picks. So you definitely want to win right now.
I believe they could be a playoff team with Trey Lance next year.
Well, Skip, if we get out there, because this is going to be different, we're going to have preseason games. We're going to have mini camps, a lot more conventional.
How many are we going to have? 2?
Probably 3.
3?
And it seems like, what's being reported is that they want to have 3. So, okay, we're going to get an opportunity to see. Now, if Mac Jones goes out there and he outperforms Cam, well, all bets are off.
Okay.
And you were right about that. Skip, it is May 9th, Trey's 21st birthday. So you were right. Birthday coming up right around the corner. And, Jimmy G's saying that he would mentor the guy. So this is an interesting relationship. Maybe a little different than how Tom treated Jimmy. I'm curious about all that. We have to talk about the Cowboys here. Are they poised to get back to the playoffs this year? I have some good intel on the NFC East. Stick around.
No mercy.